For years, immigration enforcement has been treated as untouchable territory in Washington, especially within conservative politics. But that just all cracked. A Republican lawmaker is now set to lead a congressional hearing scrutinizing ICE's enforcement tactics and the use of force after a deadly incident involving federal agents. Now, this is not a routine oversight. That is political signal, and it suggests something deeper is shifting inside the enforcement debates. According to reportings and moderate Republican members of Congress will chair a high-profile hearing examining ICE's conduct, training, and use of force policies following recent fatalities that we have seen. The matter becomes oversight of enforcement agencies that has traditionally split cleanly along party lines. When a member of the same party that champions aggressive enforcement begins questioning the tactics, it signals that concerns have moved from activist circles into the political mainstream. The focus is not immigration law itself. The focus is how enforcement is carried out, how are agents trained to conduct arrests. I know many of you have heard that these agents are trained by the IDFs, right? So, what rule governs raids, plainclothes operations, and the use of deadly force? What accountability exists when operation results in civilian deaths? Okay, not one, not two, not three, more than 3 civilian deaths from federal agents. So, these questions are not about ideology. They're about operational standards. In other words, even supporters of enforcement are now asking whether the system is being run safely and lawfully. Keep that in mind. Safely and lawfully. And the past few months and weeks, and you can even say years, we have not seen nothing safely about the system of enforcement. Now, why does this connect to, our interests as public people, right? As civilians. Enforcement agencies rely on the public trust to function, just like any law enforcement agency. Without the public's assistance, without the neighborhood's help, nothing will work. So when communities see federal agents as unpredictable or unaccountable, corporations collapses. We will not cooperate with them, right? So that has real consequences in the long run. Witnesses go silent. We see this even without aggressive police makers or policymakers or people in higher ranks of society, right? Victims stop reporting crimes. We see this already. So imagine how much is going to increase when these are the things that we're seeing from law enforcement, when we're seeing from ICE agents, federal agents. They're supposed to have the highest standards of moral conduct, right? Moral training, everything. So, and an entire neighborhood retreats from public institutions. So online community advocates and local journalists are documenting fear in immigrant communities, which we've seen. We're seeing posts that are describing plainclothes agents conducting operations in residential areas, and families are unsure how to tell the difference between federal officers and impersonators. We've seen people using ICE, as a cover-up to kidnap, to do a lot of things that are not safely and that are not lawful. Is a perfect scapegoat for them to do any illegal activities, because ICE and other law enforcement agencies have made it easy for them to do so. We just had a resident in my state go to Minnesota recently to go ahead and help deliver food to individuals that are scared to get out of their homes because they're immigrants. So it's really, really scary. It's just a matter of this person is wearing a regular shirt, a regular pants, and they're gonna come across to me and request for me to show them my documents, or threaten me with illegal force, or legal aggressive behavior, right? And I can't verify if they're really with the federal agents, with ICE, or they're just there to harass me. So this erosion of trust becomes a public safety issue, not just an immigration issue. Again, this is not just an immigration issue, right? Critics argue hearings often generate headlines but little reform. Supporters say sunlight matters. Historically, Meaningful reforms have only follow sustained oversight, not one-off hearings. The real test will be whether this leads to policy changes, revised training standards, clear use of force rules, and transparent investigations when civilians are harmed, civilians are murdered broad daylight, right? If lawmakers pursue this seriously, we could see a binding operational reforms, new reporting requirements for ICE, an independent review mechanism when deadly force is used. If it becomes a political theater, communities will remain caught between enforcement priorities and accountability gaps. This hearing signals that the debate is no longer just whether, enforcement exists, but how powerful is exercised and who is protected when it goes wrong. That shift alone tells us something is changing in Washington, even if the outcome remains uncertain. Stay informed, stay safe. I will leave you all in the care of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. What are your thoughts on this?